So, hi, welcome to... I'm doing that all the way over again. Or I'm leaving all this in, because fuck it. So, hi, welcome to Binge Buddies, Bad Days in Haddonfield. With me, your host is always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt, Zombie Dog, Giggles, Dykes. Is that a giggle? I can't even hear it.
It's a very high-pitched giggle.
Oh, it's not picking. It's too high-pitched for your mic. All we get is a...
Oh,
it's too much.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Your mic isn't picking up the hand twiddles. So.
Yeah, no, the twiddles aren't coming in either. This is not a visual medium. And with that, we also have Joel, Captain Obvious DeWitte.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Hey, we're talking about Halloween, right, Joel?
No, I thought it was Halloween.
No.
Wait, what about Halloween?
Oh shit! Is it Halloween?
If this was a visual medium, I did give a very muted look on my face.
You did. It was a good one. It was very like I've heard these.
You
jokes.
kept it PG and didn't give us the finger, just a muted look.
Okay, so we got one more. We also have Mr. Ryan, Comedy Central Lootens.
Thank you. I'm here all night.
How's that even a nickname? Like, that's literally just a TV channel.
I have found the saddest website, which is entirely designed around, do you need nicknames for your friends? We got them.
This is where we're at with us and Brian's friendship.
Anyone who's going on that website does not even have friends to give nicknames to.
If I had friends, one of them would totally be Sugar Cube, and then I would have another one named Boo and Jokester, and hold on, I got more. Dolly and Bug and Chipmunk and Bonnie Lass.
I'm a little upset I'm not Bobby Lass.
Ryan, how does it feel to be compared to a TV channel who ran Girls Gone Wild commercials, infomercials at 2 a.m?
I don't think we have the time to sit and discuss this. I would need at least 3 hours.
Those girls, they went wild. They sure did.
I mean, I can lift my shirt up and go, woohoo!
Well, then you've gone wild.
Right.
You can sell VHS tapes for $20 a pop.
Exploitation on tape. Yep.
How was that even a thing? Like, you know what? Because people suck is how it was a thing.
That should be our next Binge Buddies.
Oh my god! All right, we're doing it. We're doing all the Girls Gone Wild movies.
Didn't we talk about doing a porn series at one point?
I think we talked doing like the Pirates movies just to like, yeah, we're gonna talk about the plot, and we will not mention there's any banging at all. We're only talking the plot. It would be kind of fun. It'd just be kind of hard to watch.
I've seen that.
Oh, of course you've seen it. Everyone's seen it.
Everyone's seen it. You can't look away from it.
It was a porno with like $100 million budget. Everyone had to watch it.
There's this point where like there's a scene going on with a bunch of men around, and one of them says, "Yar, choke her."
Yeah, you know the main pirate in that thing, the guy with like the really long flowy hair. Yeah, we used to record our podcast in his garage.
Nice.
That's where After the Hype used to be recorded, was in that dude's garage. He's actually really nice. He's a super gun nut and crazy conservative, but otherwise, like, he just likes hugs. I'll just give you a big hug when you meet him. He's really nice. Just don't ever follow him on social media. Anyhow, let's get to the end of this thing, right? Get it?
I mean, Halloween does end.
It certainly ends. Like, this is that's it, folks. He can't come back from that. I saw him. He looked like Silly Putty.
Look, Mom, I'm Picasso.
Like, not to jump the gun here, but we'll get to it later.
The death in this thing is it's a lot. Anyhow, so if you've been watching the trailers and getting excited for this movie, you had a movie to watch, and then you didn't get it, and that's Halloween Ends, and we're gonna start really just quick with our take on it. When I watched this movie the first time, I had the total shock of where the fuck is the Michael Myers movie that I thought I was watching. But without that in mind, I actually think it's a pretty good movie. I don't think it's really necessarily my cup of tea, but I can see this being like a tried and true midnight, like, will have sold out houses. Like, people will love this thing. This thing will have a cult following. It hits the right things. It's got just a style dripping off of it. I just don't really care for it. is where I've kind of landed. I don't hate it. I think it's a good movie. It's not the end of my list when we'll get to next week, but it's also not my favorite, is where I land. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. There's been worse films in this series. I mean, not just in general.
Clearly.
That's glowing.
But no, there's moments in it that I really like, and there's moments in it where I just think, oh, what the fuck is going on here? Like one of my favorite kills for next week is actually from this film. So, no, but that was nearly there.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Again, not a visual medium.
We should do like the audio description thing.
Bryan mimicked cutting off his tongue.
Yeah. Joel and Ryan laugh.
The worst podcast.
I think it'd be quite amusing. We should just do one episode where it's just audio descriptive.
Just be like, oh, this is a written podcast. Isn't that just a script?
So is this an audio book? Like, what's happening? Anyhow, Joel, what'd you think of the movie?
Beyond the first 5 minutes, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I actually I think it's one of the better Halloween movies. And I think the way it plays off of the expectations and the normal conventions, it is in a natural way that feels suited for what they're going for. And there's a lot of great moments near the end too. So I'm pretty happy with this one.
Yeah. And Ryan, I know your take because we've already had a whole hour-long conversation about this movie, but
Yes, you and I did the full disclosure for Monster Cast for the Front Row Network. But I mean, to me, this is definitely a movie that doesn't get the credit that it deserves. I think it is a very good movie. Is it the best? Absolutely not. Is it better than Kills? Absolutely.
It's not difficult, though, is it really?
That's not setting the bar high, but to me,
it's like saying, "Oh, that broken leg I got was better than being shot in the head."
But no, I think this movie, you know, people were like, "Oh, where's Michael? Where's Michael?" But this is that whole transcendence thing, you know, and that they talked about. And this is Michael taking on, you know, you tell me you take the beating that he took in Halloween Kills, and you tell me you're ready, even if you're a supernatural force, you tell me you're ready to come back and just start killing. I mean, they did a really good job with it. I think the story was fine. Is it my favorite? No, but does it definitely beat some other Halloween films? You'll find out next week.
Yeah, I just liked how when he started stabbing that guy, it was like he was charging up.
Yeah, that is. We'll get to that.
Full hell.
So the way that we'll start this is it's in my notes. I turned this thing on last night when I got home from doing a 12-hour day at work, which sucked, but whatever. And my wife was putting my son to sleep, so I'm like, oh, we're watching a movie together tonight. I should wait for her to start it. So she's in there for like 20 minutes or whatever, you know, getting the kid to bed. And then she comes into our room where we're gonna watch the movie, and she sees it on pause in the beginning and just goes, oh fuck, why did you wait for me? I haven't liked a single one of these stupid things. I'm not gonna like this. And then she certainly fell asleep about half an hour in. Like she was not gonna watch it. So that's how my viewing experience started. But so this movie starts with, as Joel said, the first 5 minutes of this thing are rough. I actually like the first 5 minutes. I think this is a really good opening. I think each one
is great.
I think each one of the David Gordon Green openings are starkly different than the other, but they all start the movie in a way that will absolutely set the tone for that movie. And I think it does a great job. Like the first one opens with the like, say something, and the whole movie people are obsessed with him saying something. And it's that whole kind of like just on the edge of your seat tense the whole time. The second movie, the opening isn't as good, and it's a little bit messy, just like the whole fucking movie. And
well, wait, I mean, I mean, it's setting the whole idea of, you know, the trauma that the town experienced.
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
Blaming Michael for everything. So there's that.
Yeah, and it's there. I just don't like that movie.
I like the opening. The rest of the movie is
I'll give you the opening. Mostly because the rest of the movie sucks so much. The opening looks better, but you know, whatever. But this one, I actually think the opening, it does a very good job of like, it sets the tone of not only is this movie going to be like very emotionally abusive and this guy's going to have a very rough time. It also sets the tone of, this is not the movie you thought you're going to watch. Like, it hits you with that right out of the gate. Like, oh, you're kind of expecting, like, I know this isn't the same year that Michael attacked, but they keep talking about the boogeyman. Like, maybe he's going to get attacked or something. Like, I don't know where this thing is going. And then I did not expect the kid to get punted off behind a railing and then horribly die in front of his parents.
He was a prick, though.
He
Like,
was.
literally my second bullet point in my notes is kid is a prick. Third one, kid dead, not downstairs.
Yeah, I don't think he deserved being yeeted off of the balcony, but
Yeah.
No, I don't think he is.
Your wife's a teacher, right?
yes. And I mean, like, I told you how I felt last night when we were watching it, but I agree that it's a very smart opening and a setup for the movie they're trying to sell. The problem is that child death is a little bit of a red line for my wife, and it was tough for me to watch too. One is because we have kids that age, but two is just they treat that death with sort of a disrespect for humanity a little bit. You know, that like he just drops on the ground, and then of course parents screaming, but then they like show it, like they sit for a second and show it, if I remember right.
Well,
but
it's kind of out of focus, but you see him land and do like this ragdoll, like
yes,
yes,
but that's enough. That's enough to be really painful to watch. And I think they've alluded to child death before, but I don't remember them showing it on screen as much.
Oh, he full on kills a kid and kills like
then I muted that in my head.
And the
that's
first
Halloween,
one,
not kills.
yeah,
That's Halloween.
when he's escaping.
Yeah,
yeah,
when he's escaping.
But despite that, I think what it does really well is it plays off your expectations, and the kid even sort of it gave a hint to it where they're talking about Michael Myers, and he says something like, "You know, I'm fine. It's going to be the babysitters that get killed." You know, sort of teasing him on it, and then it played off that really well, messing with your expectations with that. I think him getting stuck in the actual, was it like the closet or the attic?
It's kind of an
Yeah, it was an attic.
I think the kid, you know, playing hide and seek with him and locking him in the attic, it seemed pretty obvious at the first that like the kid's fine, but then they linger on it long enough to where you start questioning yourself. Yeah. And then when they switch it to him being stuck, like you can feel the claustrophobic feeling that he's experiencing there. So I think it's really effective. It was just like one step too far for me and Kelly.
See, for me, like you get the feeling that you're sympathizing. This allows you to sympathize with Corey,
yes,
more than anything, because it's an accident. You know, it's an accident.
Yeah,
you know, we all know how kids can be, and no kid, when they're playing like that, regardless of how ruthless a kid can be, deserves the fate that this young boy got. Whereas in the other ones, you know, like in Halloween, when Michael breaks that young boy's neck, like that death to me was more of that kid didn't deserve it. Neither did this kid. No kid deserves to die, but this one was more tragic to me. And I think that's where we get that, oh God, but you understand how it sets up the rest of the movie, if that makes sense.
Right. I agree. The structure made sense, and it's a perfect setup for what's to come. And
I get what
I think it's smart in that way.
Yeah. I get what you mean with like it being more tragic as well, because the kid in the first one, it's just, you know, bad
wrong
luck.
Place, wrong time.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time. He's just around this where this killer has escaped. Whereas with this one, it's literally just an accident.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's a prank gone wrong.
Yeah, he's sort of horsing around, and you know, how many of these films have we seen where it's like a prank goes wrong? You know, Prom Night, for example.
Exactly.
You know, that opening of Prom Night was literally about a prank gone wrong, and you know, and you just sort of like seeing more of the kind of aftermath of how a prank goes. Like, you know, if a prank goes wrong in this instance, someone dies because of it, and then the person who was being pranked is actually blamed for the death as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's so believable. Like in this situation, he kicked down a door that killed a kid. Like there's no way a small town like that isn't just going to go wild with it. But the other thing that, like, in this scene that we haven't really touched on, that I think, and it's mirrored later in the movie with Laurie and why am I forgetting her granddaughter's name? Allison,
yeah.
But with Laurie and Allison, where this movie has a really good timing for someone to walk through a door, like walk in at just the wrong moment, and it happens with this kid where the parents walk in right as it's hitting the peak, and he's shouting, "I'm going to murder you." Then he falls right in front of him. So it's like that timing is just, it's unbelievably brutal, but it's also like it's perfect for a horror movie. It's like, oh, you
Yes.
nailed it. Like, good job. I hate this, but good job.
I mean, that's the thing as well. It's like you can totally tell what the without even seeing it, you can totally tell what the defense attorney would have said in court about that comment. It's like, how many times have you said, "I'll kill you"?
Yeah,
and you don't mean it literally. You know, you're just very annoyed, and it's like that was one of the things that was playing around in my head. It's like, oh, if we were to see the court case, the prosecutor will be leaning on him shouting that, and the defense attorney will be saying, well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how many times have you said that you killed someone? Have you ever killed that person? No.
Yeah. Like, you can see it all. And like, I think that's what's so good about this movie and why this movie is so much higher above Kills. Granted, I know Kills is very low, but still, like, because it has that sort of stuff that wasn't in Kills. Kills just feels like almost like dreamlike of like, what is happening in this thing? And that might be kind of the point of that movie, and it just doesn't click for me. Whereas this one feels kind of like the original again, not the original 78, but the original 2018 one, where it's like it feels more grounded in reality and in a way that I can kind of buy into it. And then as we move throughout the movie, I'm not sure if you guys are fans of the movie Christine. I am. This movie just reeks of Christine the whole way through, from like the color palette they use, Corey's design, where all the kids are killed, like those teenagers, just feels like the garage straight out of Christine. He also does a car thing like Christine. This whole movie just reeks of Christine. So I think that's
well, I did read somewhere the character of Corey was based off of Richie in Christine. I think it was the character.
Oh, that tracks, yeah.
Because his surname's Corey Cunningham, and like even the look of the character was fully based on that. Which is another John Carpenter film as well.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of something this movie does better than the other ones, which it didn't feel like. I felt like the other ones were just very big love letters to Halloween and kind of Halloween 3 for some reason. But this one,
Halloween 3 is pretty good.
Hey, that's really high up in my list. You'll find out next week. I like Halloween 3. It just felt like a weird movie that, like, no, I love Halloween and Halloween 3. Like, okay. Like, cool. This one felt like it loved more just like John Carpenter in general. Like, even if it wasn't like calling back to all of his movies, it just felt like it was going more for like a John Carpenter tone instead of just a Halloween tone, which I found.
I like that as almost like a natural evolution as well, because it's like you've gone for the Halloween tone, and then you've gone more for the Halloween tone, but in like a really fucked up weird way that Halloween 2 became, and then you go into the more sort of like generic John Carpenter tone as like, so it's kind of like these new 3 films. It's not so much about Halloween as such. It's more about a bit of a love letter to John Carpenter's film career, maybe. Yeah, in a weird way. But yeah, I do like the little references, like, we talk about the Christine thing, they're watching The Thing as well, but John Carpenter's The Thing, whereas in the very first Halloween they were watching Howard Hawks' The Thing was on TV, and it's just like it's that nice kind of like thing. And then you got the babysitter Corey, so it's like, no, this is a bit too much, it's a bit gruesome, this. And it's like, yes, John Carpenter's version of The Thing is really fucking gruesome and would not be on TV.
They're also watching the one scene from the movie I can't watch. I cannot get through that whole, like, the chest, like, bursting open, ripping the dude's arms off, and then his head falling. That's scene is it's too much for me.
It's amazing, though. Like, the practical effects in that are incredible.
I agree. Really That's amazing. Why I can't watch it. It's so successful, it makes me not watch it. Way to go. I'm out.
God, you're a wuss.
Fine. Okay with that assumption. Anyhow, let's talk more Halloween Ends, not how wussy I am.
Do we have to?
No, we can keep going on that train. I'm fine with it. But I am going to keep going about Halloween. So this movie, so after we've had the opening and everything, we start getting back into Haddonfield proper, which is kind of nice. We see that Laurie's gone a very different route from this experience with Michael versus the first experience with Michael. The first one, she went, oh God, the world is horrible. I need to be prepared for it and murder it when it tries to murder me. And then after it does try to murder her again, she's like, okay, maybe that was the wrong approach. So she and her granddaughter are like, all right, we've experienced the worst possible situation. We know it can't get worse than this. Let's just live our lives. Just say fuck it and let's live our lives. And I really do appreciate this movie does honestly feel like it gave them that chance.
I do like that as well, because it's like the other the first one, like we've been talking about generational trauma in this new series, and it's kind of like, we've had the generational trauma. This is now kind of like the healing from that trauma. Like, you know, them trying to live a normal life is like, okay, well, doing that was probably not the best thing because it have caused all this trauma. Now I need to help heal the trauma. So let's, like, you know, especially with the character of Laurie in this one, she's like really is putting on that sort of, oh yeah, let's you know, I'll make a pumpkin pie and, you know, all this stuff. And
what does she say? Get your tits out and say hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's this sort of like, I think she goes like way far the other way, as like, you know, which again, it's, I think she's trying to heal, but it's that sort of almost like self-medicating when you've got some sort of mental health issue. It's like you go too far the other way. There's a balance there. You can't just kind of ignore the problem and hope that, you know, it goes away on its own and cover it up and things like that. I think it's quite interesting to see the two sides of that as well.
And the movie shows the two sides the whole way through because you get the parallel of Corey going through it. So you see them hit like very similar social situations and you see how they both react to it differently. Corey goes very extreme. Laurie does
not even that, but like it informs her choices too. I mean, she has conversations with her granddaughter about like he's going down a very dark path and I don't want you to do it. And it's that kind of understanding from experience. And seeing Michael Myers up close and seeing sort of the monster in his eyes to understand that something's not right here. This series, I've come to find, beyond a slasher, is a lot about trauma. Like that is an ongoing theme throughout the entire series, to varying levels of effectiveness that we've spoken about. But I think to
Buster
your
Rhymes
point
comes to mind.
That's a different kind of trauma.
Yeah. Happy Halloween, motherfucker. But I like this one, to your point. Like it shows both sides of the coin. I think Jamie Lee Curtis's character, you know, it is the other side of the coin of dealing with trauma. I like that she's like writing a memoir. I find that interesting because writing can be a very therapeutic experience of trying to manage that kind of thing. And is it just me or?
Well, when I was really badly suffering with mental health, like I was writing a lot, and a lot of the characters I was writing were really fucked up characters, and it was almost like a catharsis of getting it out. And you know, it's quite interesting. Like I didn't even think of that, and which is ironic considering I kind of did that myself once.
yeah. I mean, journaling is something that's stressed a lot in therapy. So it's smart that they introduce that as well. Does it seem to me? It seems like Jamie Lee Curtis sort of plays an exaggerated version of herself.
Thank you. That's my point.
These movies.
Yeah, that's my point.
Okay.
No, sorry, Ryan.
Brian, you can say that's your point, but I just heard Joel say it. So way to go, Joel. Very good point.
I don't think it is. I think Joel just made that point, and you're trying to steal his excellent point.
Go fuck yourself.
Excellent point, Joel. Excellent point.
Way to go, Joel.
I was waiting.
Couldn't have thought of it myself better.
Ryan,
everybody off. I'll do it.
Ryan, tag in, Ryan.
Tag in. All right. No. So, being a huge fan of this series, I think this was the perfect moment for Jamie Lee Curtis to bring Laurie into herself, bring herself out in Laurie, because she knew for a fact this was the last time. She is not doing anymore. She said she's done. This is the perfect end to Laurie's story, besides getting stabbed and thrown off a building. I honestly think
that was not a perfect ending to Laurie's story.
Holiday is perfect. Wait till next week. You'll see in my rankings.
You look at Jamie Lee Curtis, how she is in the public, and she is this bubbly, bright person. And when she brings that to Laurie, it is so believable because it is Jamie Lee, and that's what makes it right. Jamie Lee Curtis is such a great actress. She just got nominated for Best Supporting Actress finally. But I think that the fact that she can show herself in her most beloved character really means a lot and is a true testament to her as an actress.
I totally agree. Like she's great in this movie because I'll go for the sequence, kind of moving through the movie. So she has a run-in with the what the hell is the character's name? The cop who was in Armageddon.
Hawkins.
Thank you. So she has a run with Hawkins in a grocery store, and they're really flirty. Like, hey, you know, I want I'm learning Japanese. I'm doing great things with my life. I'm having a good time. And he's like, I'm gonna go see the cherry blossoms. And they kind of had this like really nice moment. And then as soon as she gets outside, the woman who had one of the most brutal murders in the entire first movie is outside waiting for her, and is just like, oh, I guess I'm not allowed to be happy, and it's horrible. And you can see
in the supermarket, my note is actually literally Frank and Laurie in the supermarket. This is odd. It feels so strange in one of these films to be having this kind of like meet cute thing in the supermarket. I mean, it's not really technically meet cute because they have already met, but it just, there's something about it that like, it's a great scene, but I'm just sitting there going, doesn't feel like a Halloween film. I'm waiting for like Michael Myers to just like pop out of a cereal box or something like.
Well, I see. That's where I think that what David Gordon Green's trying to get across is: do these people deserve to be happy, or can they be happy, or is it just going to be awkward?
And that's Michael does pop out at the end, like him with the victim waiting outside. That is Michael. Michael is just in the town. So the fact that she came outside and there's a woman with a huge scar on her neck, she can't talk anymore. We all witnessed her husband dying in the most brutal way possible. So like Michael is there. He's everywhere.
Yeah. What really pissed me off about like it's the people blaming Laurie. Like it's not her fucking fault. Like it's this kind of
scapegoat someone.
Yeah, but it's that I remembered like thinking, literally like one of my notes is like later on, because it happens again, is like it's fucking victim blaming. That's what one of my notes is, and it's like I know there's a big thing about that at the moment with a lot of these things that have been going on. Like people will try and blame the victim, and it's like no, and I like how they kind of like it feels very real in that sense that actually there would be these people who were pissed off and they would start to blame another victim because they haven't had, there was no trial of Michael. They don't even know where he is, if he was captured or killed or whatever.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
But I kind of, I don't condone it, but I kind of understand it.
Mm-hmm.
This tiny town of Haddonfield has this person that has a serial murderer gravitating towards them every so often on Halloween. Eventually you start making links of just like, these people just need to get the fuck out of town so we can live our lives in peace.
Well, bear in mind though, in this universe, as it was, it's happened twice. Like in 40 years, it happened once in 1978 and then once again in 2018. So it's not really that often that it's happened.
And it's not her. That's
exactly like that was the whole thing. Like it was Dr. Sartain took him to Laurie in the first film.
But we're thinking then, this rationally. Remember, this is Haddonfield. They went did you see how nuts they went in the last movie over the wrong guy? They were like, that's clearly the wrong guy. Kill him anyway. Like they
really? I don't know. He will die tonight.
Oh, like this town, it's very small town America. Like it is very they really hit that. Like when there's
the scars are visible. And it's like you said, no matter where she turns, she's gonna see the trauma of 1978 and 2018. She's gonna see it. And survivors they can't blame Michael, so who are they gonna blame? The one that got away, pretty much still walking around, Laurie.
Yeah.
Well, she may have gotten hurt, but she's the epitome because she's the one in the headlines.
Yeah. And there goes back to the idea of trauma then, and then how it affects people. So for the straight victims of Michael Myers, there's obvious repercussions in terms of how it warps their personality and character. The other people in town see this stuff, and what they see at the end of the day is how that trauma affects those people, and then probably go, well, okay, they're a little weird now, and then in a town, people sort of get a reputation and they tell themselves like, okay, we're going to stay away from that family. They're nothing but trouble, even though it's not their fault.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, we have Corey, who is going through very similar problems. Like he didn't get an entire, I don't remember how many people Michael killed over the last two movies, but he didn't get all those people killed. He got one person killed. And everyone is still treating him almost as bad as they treat Laurie, because his are a little bit more visible. He's a little bit more directly involved in the murders. He's not just, the victim that got away. He's the guy who caused the situation in a manner of speaking. So when he's around town, people will just pick on him. Like he has this roving gang of teenage band geeks that are just the toughest band geeks that have ever been band geeks.
Oh,
And
I would like
my
to
note
point
on
out,
them: the teenagers at the store. I want them to die.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was so
Yeah.
I was so happy when they.
I would
did.
like to point out that one of them last name is Tramer.
Of course it is. What is
Yeah, I
the series of
noticed
Ben
that.
Tramer?
Yep.
I noticed
get
that.
it.
It's the head dude, Terry Tramer.
Whatever. I never thought Ben Tramer would be like this huge character in the franchise. It's never even a fucking scene. Very annoyed with Ben Tramer.
Fuck you, Ben.
Anyhow, so like he has that sequence at the it's like a quick stop sort of thing where like the kids like they want to buy beer for him and he's like no, because he's a very socially awkward guy who doesn't want to break the law and whatnot, and they
Well, I took that a little bit as well. It's like he's probably on probation as well. Like if he gets caught doing
Maybe.
that could send him back to prison.
but not
like-
even send him back to prison. It might just be like if you put a single toe out of line, they're gonna throw the whole book at you because of who you are.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be seen.
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to. I don't want to be seen because if I'm seen, it's just going to be a problem.
And
Yeah.
people are going to judge me and immediately come down my throat.
And that's
Yep.
exactly what happens. They
Mhm.
ask an older guy to buy them beer, and then they realize who the older guy is, and they just start ragging on him. Then he gets really mad. He shatters a glass in his hand. He gets a cut in his hand. And then after the kids are scattered away by Lori, because Lori happens to be at that gas station, she decides, and this is for me the biggest problem with this entire movie, of here's a guy that she knows has a whole bunch of trauma. I'm gonna go set him up with my granddaughter, who also has a whole
Yeah,
bunch of
what
trauma.
the hell is that all about? It's like,
It's-
oh, I know. He needs to get laid. Oh, I know. I'll send him to my granddaughter. What is wrong with her?
And like it feels like I try to make the leap in my head of like they have similar problems, they have similar backgrounds, maybe they'd be a good friendship for each other because clearly like they're more in the same age range. I'm not there, I can't relate to her in the same way. Maybe I'm giving her somebody she can relate to is what I'm trying to like wrap my head around, but it still just feels like it feels like a miss for me. Like I get that it needs to work for the movie to work, so I can give it that rope, but this is where like when I say it's not my favorite movie and it doesn't fully work for me, it's these sorts of things that kind of chop it down.
This is my biggest problem. If Lori knows how trauma works because she's been struggling with it this whole time, she knows that you really can't put two people that experience trauma together because it's not shared trauma if it's not the same event. So their trauma is going to be vastly different. You're not going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, this happened. No, it's completely different things. He's the subject of an accident. She's the subject of mass death. It doesn't link up.
No, not at all.
And even if it did, like people deal with trauma in different ways.
Right.
Like our brains are so different. So even if it's exactly the same trauma, it's probably not. It's still not going to be healthy for them to both try and share their traumas and heal that way because trauma is not. It's like I've always said this, like around mental health. Trauma is not like a broken leg. You don't fix it exactly the same way as everyone else. Like everyone else's trauma is healed in slightly different ways. Yes, there are similar methods that work, but because it's an issue in your brain which you can't just you can't put a plaster cast on it.
But they do touch on that later between Allison and what is his name?
Corey.
Yeah, because they have arguments and they touch upon Allison saying like, I understand how you feel. And he comes back and says, no, they see you as a victim.
Yeah.
They say me as a murderer.
And that was after the party they go to, right? Like she gets him out of his shell and like, oh, we're gonna go to a Halloween party, and he's wearing a mask throughout most of it, and he's like finally having fun. He's having a great time, and then he runs into the mom of the kid that he was involved with, and it's a rough scene.
Yeah, that was painful.
Just the look on the mom of like, are you out? Are you having fun? Fuck you. You don't get to have fun. And like that whole like, and like that's one of the very few scenes Chewie was still awake for. And she's just like, I don't blame her. She's like, I don't think she's right, but I don't blame that reaction.
No.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. It's a very real reaction. It's surprisingly real for a film like Halloween, for the 13th film in the Halloween series.
But yeah, and it's a very believable moment. And then afterwards, like he's obviously understandably shaken. So he goes out and he has this huge argument with Allison about, I understand you. No, you don't. We went through different things, and I'm currently handling it very differently, which we have not really touched on yet. Because this is when he starts handling it, right? Is after this sequence, because
after he gets tossed off the bridge and someone comes.
Yeah, because
that was the night of the party, right?
Sweet home.
Yeah, he's walking home from the party, and the teenagers drive up alongside him again. That's when he ends up getting.
Damn Terry Tramer,
fucking Tramers, man. They're here to ruin franchises. Anyhow, so yeah, the kids show up. And they start bullying him again, and he has had it. So he pulls a knife on him, and their reaction to getting a knife pulled on him is to chuck him off a bridge. Again, a reasonable reaction. Like, this guy pulled a knife on you. At that point, defend yourself. I don't think they're in the wrong here. I get that they overreacted. They started the whole situation. That part, they're in the wrong. But at the same time, when it comes down to, I pulled a knife, okay, then get out of that situation. You shouldn't have started the situation, but I get why this happened. Does that make sense? Like, this wasn't supposed to be a murder. This wasn't really supposed to be anything, but now we're here.
Yeah, I still think they are assholes for that, but they started it. So
they started it.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
They started it, but him and Lori escalated it with the tire slashing. Right. So and the second I saw that, I was like, well, they're not going to regret that at all.
Yeah.
This reminds me of my favorite line from Step Brothers. In terms of Lori, you're an enabler and you're a keeper. She's enabling Corey to fight back, but she doesn't realize that Corey fighting back is going to trigger something, especially when he is taken into Michael's dungeon.
Yeah, which is what happens when he gets tossed off the bridge, and Michael's like, hey, here's a freebie. I'm just going to wake my broken ass up and crawl out here and drag you back here because I'm old and decrepit now.
Meanwhile, he's living peacefully with the hermit under the bridge. I love that. I can imagine an 80s sitcom, The Hermit and Michael.
The hermit kind of loves Michael in a way. Like, we don't really get a lot of the hermit, but he is just very like, that's Michael. Oh, I like him.
Yep. I love that you can, and this is something I had to do a double take on. I didn't see it when I originally watched it, but like when they see Corey laying on the ground, if you look to the very right in the edge of the screen, you can see Michael approaching Corey. Did anybody else catch that?
I did, because you pointed it out when I talked about it with you in Brazil. So this time I was looking for it.
So you see the hermit sitting off in the distance. You see Corey laying down here, and off to the very far side of the screen, Michael is approaching Corey. It's quick, but you see him.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, I think, in this series as well. Like the more you go back, the more you sort of notice how much Michael's in the background.
4 and 5 is notorious for it.
Yeah.
Well, with 5, was it 5 where he's just wandering around during the day though? Like people, like, you would
see him underneath trees. He's looking up at Jamie through the window. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that and I think Michael is. Michael, we don't know what he eats. We don't know if he's got in a relationship with the hermit, but him taking Corey in, I don't, it's hard to understand. And then this is where people get really pissed off. And I'm sorry to move on with this, Brian.
No, go ahead. The
whole looking in each other's eyes, I think Michael sees darkness. It's like seeing darkness with darkness. Michael understands that he's got this deep, dark thing in him. And it's like, we're kindred spirits. He's not necessarily trying to pass the torch. It's like, this is a killer. This is someone I can relate to. He's not going to, because he's a silent machine that just moves. But Michael gets it when he looks in his eyes. Does that make sense? What do you guys think when it comes to this whole confrontation between the two?
I mean, I think the problem with it is the way it's shot, because my note on that is literally Corey finding Michael in the sewer and having some sort of mind meld, because it is literally like there's like some sort. It's just the way it's shot. It's like it's almost like they're trying to make out that there's some sort of weird transfer of
they're bonding
something, some sort of energy or something, and it's just very If they could have, I think they should have shot it differently. Like you could have had like close-ups of the eyes and quick cuts of like Corey's eyes and that kind of thing where they're like, oh, I get that a bit more now. Like the way it's shot though, it does kind of feel more like it's some sort of like psychic transference.
Yes, and see that's where when I watch them, like people are going to interpret it like this and they're going to hate the movie.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the shit that went down, or the bad flack for this movie, is because of that moment. I don't think it was that. I think there was some type of recognition of evil.
I don't know how they shoot that well when
Yeah,
it's
neither
done
do
in
I.
silence.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of the
Right.
problem. And to your guys' point, what it reminded me of was near the end of WandaVision when it's the two visions and he sort of like transfers his almost personality into the new vision and he flies off. Like that is a similar kind of vibe that I got from it. And personally, if it was going to be a matter of like some sort of link, to me, it's done better here than in prior movies.
Yeah.
In this,
Well, see,
Bro,
like,
yeah.
it's like, are they trying to do the whole transcendence? You know, Laurie talks about Michael transcending. Is that what we're seeing here? I just thought of it as a bond, but there's no real case for the whole psychic connection or transference. I just knew that people would interpret it as, oh, it's like Laura or Jamie in Halloween 4 and 5, where she's getting part of Michael by touching him.
Well, I think that's maybe where the problem's coming from, because even though they're saying this is completely separate, those don't exist.
Yeah,
you can't just forget that they
Right,
existed. So I think, you know, audiences who have seen those films and, like, you know, audiences who love the Halloween films are going to go in. They're going to know that they've seen the film where there was that sort of weird psychic stuff and interpret it that way, because even though it's not in this continuity, there is a precedence for weird sort of like psychic links between Michael and other people.
I think honestly what would have made it work better for me is, instead of having the sequence of like them staring longingly into each other's eyes or whatever it is, like all we really
They
need
should
to
have just
do,
danced.
yeah, oh man, like just fully replicated the Travolta and Uma Thurman dance from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
It had just been that carbon copy. I'd have been, I get it, this is great.
I'm trying to see Michael doing the thing with the eyes. Like...
Yeah, just yeah, that'd been great. But no, I honestly think for me it would have worked better, and maybe it's just like I like even less showing, not telling, and I think this was just still is a little too much tell, not show. And I honestly think just having him be around Michael and Michael not killing him would have been enough for me. Like, I don't need any other explanation. Just like when he's around Michael, he doesn't kill him. When another guy comes in, he'll kill the hell out of that guy, but he'll just stare at Corey, and Corey can't figure out why he's okay.
The funny thing though too is that the way you can kind of tell Ryan's take is right is that they almost have a teacher-student relationship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he full on says, "Teach me how to kill," or "Show me how to kill." Like,
yes. So it's not like he is being embodied and then he's being compelled, like Michael is like a force of nature. He's trying to learn because he is going down this dark path and he realizes that's what he wants. And then on top of that, they have the scene where he kills for the first time and regains his strength. And I can see why some people wouldn't care for it. I find it fascinating. I find it fascinating, the idea that in order to get back to his normal form, he needs to kill. And because he hasn't killed that long, he is withered and weak.
Yeah, it's almost like it's kind of like a Wendigo thing of, like you said, that's more cannibalism based, but it's like it does kind of feel like that. Like when he starts stabbing, he's like, is he powering up, or he's like, oh, I love stabbing. Oh, I feel so much better.
This is therapy.
Oh, I just needed to stab someone. I feel 20 years younger.
And a big breath in and down. Box breathing, stab breathing. It's fine.
But you could honestly, like, you could see it go either way. You could see it like the if you want to go like the more mystic way, if he's charging up, like death makes him more powerful, or is it like he's just getting back to what he likes? Like, and both scenarios work. Like, do you want to go more one way or the other? You're watching the same movie, and I think you're both getting the same thing out of it. Like, I think it does both well.
I think I went the charging up route just because I think at the time at that moment the music's, it kind of sounds like something's charging up a bit. As though like the music sort of goes.
Oh, just because you mentioned it, out of all three of the David Gordon Green movies, this is far and away my favorite score. I love the music.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's
the music,
so good.
Yeah,
thanks, John Carpenter.
Yeah, and his son, right?
Yep, Cody.
Yeah, they did a great job, and I think someone else helped them too, didn't they? There's three people.
Yeah, there was a third one. I forgot the guy's name.
But either way, the Carpenters and they did a great job.
Yeah.
Hold on, Daniel Davies there. It is. I found it. Great music. But anyhow, so while all this is going on, like, this is a more complex movie than either one of the other Halloween movies, so it does make it a little bit tougher to talk about because there's so many just like parallel storylines going. But while we have all this going on, he is also courting Allison. And we get these very, like, almost like a like a 1980s vampire-esque like love sequences of like they don't like ever bang or anything, but like they're like just drenched in like this red light with this very synth music, and they're talking about like running away together, and it's just like, and like them on the back of motorcycles with this crazy synth blaring, like wind blowing in their hair. They're all like drenched in red. Like it's just so much more stylized than anything in the other two movies. And it's like, it works for me. I like it. I think it's really cool. And it shows by being so over the top how unhinged they both are in very different ways, but neither one of these are healthy people. And because they're two, like as we were talking earlier, these two very traumatized people coming together, and their traumas are not being healed, they're being amplified.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, it got to the point where
they're hurting each other.
That sort of relationship that they were building, it got to the point where, like, one of my notes, I think it's around the time where the doctor and that nurse person is killed in their house. I started thinking, I don't think this is Michael. I think it's Corey and Allison who were kind of like, you know, working together at this point. And then I started to, well, that went by the wayside pretty fucking quickly, that thought. But
I would not be surprised if there was a draft of this script where that was a thing. Because I have thought for 3 movies now that it feels like they're flirting with Allison being potentially dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get the Bonnie and Clyde type of vibe.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with it as well. Like, because this sort of, like, the way that that's shot, it does feel like a very kind of Bonnie and Clyde-esque romance of like, oh, let's just run away together and do what we want and, you know, not take any shit from people. And it's got that kind of, it felt very much like it could have gone in that direction, and I thought it was going in that direction.
Yeah. But while it's all happening, I want to talk a little bit about that doctor and the nurse getting killed, because that's really the only time beyond the end where Michael does any good murdering. And it's just like, we're going on a field trip. We're gonna go test out our murdering skills together. And it's just these two people that have been kind of shitty. And that's kind of the theme of not theme of the movie, but kind of a pace throughout the movie. Anyone who's been shitty in this movie, Corey is going to murder. They're not gonna make it. It's just not gonna happen. If you've been shitty to Corey in this movie, you're going down. Or for a minute there, if you've been shitty to Allison, you're going down.
Yeah.
In the beginning, he's like, I need to kill for her. And then after I was like, no, I need to kill for me. And we're still in I'm going to kill for her moment.
Yeah, I think that's why I started to think it was also Allison, because the people that were getting killed, like her ex-boyfriend, the creepy cop, who literally, I don't even know his name. It's just creepy cop in my notes. And then it's the doctor and the nurse who have kind of fucked her over. And I was like, that's where I was sort of, I think that's why I was going so far into I think this is the two of them and not Michael.
But and part of it is like, there's, I know I've said mean-spirited about other movies. There's a mean-spiritedness to some of this too, in terms of the revenge, like that DJ. That radio DJ, he brutalizes and then he cuts his tongue off.
But it's like, you can't think. I sort of took that as he's sort of destroying the thing that's causing him problems, because like the DJ is talking all this shit about people, so he cuts his tongue off so he can't speak.
Right. Yeah. And but that's why I knew it was him instead of Michael, because Michael's very, for the most part, very get the job done.
Yeah.
Well, and see, like, that's the whole thing with, you know, when he goes to kill the doctor and Deb, the evil nurse who stole the promotion from Allison, he's doing it as a means to, you know, to curry favor, I guess, with Allison, or make her feel better. You know, it's just a way to kind of let his trauma go. And he's bringing Michael along for the ride. But then when he realizes that all these people are out against him, he's going to become the embodiment of evil. And that pisses Michael off to where Michael comes out. So it's like Michael almost seems like he's having this someone who's helping him, you know, get back to his full self. Mm-hmm. But then when he takes the mask from Michael, again, anybody who thinks that Michael, whether you're a force of evil or not, takes the beating after you get in Halloween Kills and you can just walk around merry and chipper. You know, he got pushed over. Okay, dude's living in a sewer, probably off of worms, with bullet holes, stab wounds, you name it, they're there. Yeah, he's going to get pushed over pretty easy, but that's what causes him to, you know, you took my mask, now I'm pissed. Yeah. So when Corey goes off to kind of take the night as his own, to wreak his vengeance, It's only because he got a taste, and that was the taste with this murder with the doctor and Deb.
Yeah. And that's a great sequence because you see that he's not fully ready yet, but he's still getting it. Like he's getting he killed the shit out of the doctor. He tried to kill the lady. Yeah. And then he didn't quite get there. And she got away and she's about to call 911. And that's where Michael's like, okay, I'll help you clean up your mess. And he comes in and does a very iconic kill. And it's awesome. But then after that, we get the night. Like now, like at this point, Laurie is fully aware. I'm trying to move a little bit quicker so you don't have to listen to us like basically retell you the whole movie. But like we're at the point now where Laurie is aware that he's definitely dangerous. They've had many conversations about it. So she's worried about it. She tells her granddaughter, who gets obviously very pissed about it. But at the same time, Corey is very dangerous. He's dressed up fully like Michael Myers, and he's out there exacting revenge on everyone who's wronged him, including those shit band geeks from earlier. And wow, do they get fucking murdered.
Kramer, melt your face off.
It feels very Christine. It happens in the garage. We even have like the shot of like the lights coming up and like running after people. It's fucking cool. But yeah, all four of those kids, youch.
Weird choice of like the Jean-Claude Van Damme film directed
Hard
by John
Target!
Woo. Hard Target. Yeah, that the guy was watching in I'm just like, is this like a weird? Is this a weird reference to something that I'm missing? And I was like, there's no link to John Carpenter with that film. Sam Raimi was a producer. That's about as close as I got to it.
I have to say this. Okay, so my mom passed away 2 years ago, Valentine's Day. She did not get to see Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends, but my mom loves Jean-Claude Van Damme. So when I went to go see this movie, that was my mother winking at me. So it was perfect for me.
That's fantastic.
So
I'll just take that as canon moving forward.
Yes.
That's there for Ryan Luten's mom.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. But I do have to say, like, the night of murders, like once we finally get to it, and it does take a long time to get there because this movie is not very concerned with it.
It reminded me of H2O in that respect. I was sitting like partway through, I'm thinking, this is their version of H2O. This is more kind of like story building, and then we'll get the murders at the end.
But is the murders in this are much better than ones in H2O. The H2O
and there's more than like 3 of them as well.
But this one, like once we get there, we're done with it. He goes on, he kills all the people he needs to kill. Then he eventually is like, all right, now I need to go kill Laurie because she's also causing me problems. And Laurie, I'm not a huge fan of the whole suicide fake out sequence. I don't know, just didn't work for me. I get it, but
the whole I can't have her, nobody will moment.
No, I mean like
the pumpkin.
Yeah, the pumpkin, like all that, like her like faking a suicide. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
I liked that moment.
I thought it was good.
It was a good fake out.
It was
really
Laurie
a chance to be a badass.
I liked the way it was
building her character like this, and she's like, you honestly think I'd kill myself, and then she just blasts him. That's pure Laurie Strode. That's Laurie Strode from Halloween 2018.
But here's the thing: I'm sitting in the audience going, she wouldn't kill herself. Like I didn't buy it the whole time. Like it didn't feel like Laurie Strode.
We know Laurie. Corey doesn't. We've seen Laurie throughout this whole series. Corey has not. So for us, it works.
But it felt like the filmmakers thought we were going to get faked out, and I'm like, no, this doesn't work. It just didn't work for me. You're not selling me on it.
I mean, for me though, I just think it was shot brilliantly, and I think the music that's playing it's so good. It's a really well put together sequence, and Jamie Lee Curtis sells the hell out of it. Like, even though we know that she's not gonna kill herself, we know that Laurie would never do that. She still sells it, though. Enough to the point where inside I'm going, maybe. Oh, never mind.
I never hit maybe. I hit. Are we done with this yet?
Well, no. Immediately when you see the splatter of the thing, I'm going, well, that was a pumpkin.
Yeah.
There's no way that unless Laurie's part tall man, there's no way that was Laurie's brains because it was yellow.
I would watch the fuck out of that movie. Bring back more. Let's do Phantasm again after this.
Hell yeah.
It's time with my perspective. See, you guys can do it all over again.
Yeah, we never had Ryan on.
Yeah.
Such a
Is
good
this gonna-
franchise.
it's just something that we just keep going
Feels
back
like
to over and over again.
shit.
Hey,
No,
Joel
hell yeah.
was
Joel would be
let's
fine
do
with
it.
it. Kelly would be like, shit.
Yes. I would need to
again.
watch on my phone or something.
The best thing to do though with that is just like when you're actually watching it with Kelly, and she's like, "And you were done this already?" No, what are you on about? Never
So-
seen these films before.
So now
And then
what-
I'm sitting on the couch with him. We're here for Ryan's perspective.
I feel like now, whatever we're doing after this, I need to have the first movie be Phantasm 1 inside the actual DVD player.
There you go.
And then hit play and see how long it takes for her to be pissed off. So
Oh, she'd be so annoyed. It'd be great. Please get that on video.
Will do.
Joel!
Maybe not though, because it might be used in the divorce case.
Yeah. He made me watch Phantasm twice. Understandable. You get the kids.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had this conversation a while ago as well. Like, you made me watch this film twice.
So you're saying
Anyhow.
this podcast is just a test of my relationship with my wife?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, Kelly. You'll like the next movies much more, I promise. Maybe. I
Definitely
promise
like two of
you'll
them.
like them more than most of the Halloween movies. Anyhow, let's finish this one up.
There's
So,
not 13 of them for stars.
True.
Thank
Uh,
fuck.
So we have Corey. He fights Laurie. Laurie's obviously much better than Corey, and Corey is not fully at the Michael Myers level of like being able to take damage. He gets shot a few times, and he's been shot a few times. He's not dead. He's still, he's a psychopath. He's able to
Mhm.
deal with it, but nowhere near as well. So Laurie gets him killed. He kind of kills himself. He is also not entirely dead. Allison
Right.
shows up and freaks out, which is understandable.
Right before he stabbed himself, I looked at Kelly and said, $5 says he stabbed himself. So
Did you get $5?
no.
Ah,
It's all coming from the same pot anyway, right?
that's true. And I'm sort of fine with all that. I think all that works. The problem for me is that this movie, it's all because of the advertising. This movie was billed as Laurie versus Michael, and we don't get it until right now. We've done this whole
Mhm.
podcast, and now we've got it, and I don't need it anymore. It's not that it's bad or that it doesn't work. It's that your movie has worked. I have enjoyed your movie. And now I have to watch the movie from the trailers, and I'm already kind of done. Like I'm thematically there, and I've already seen this fight. I saw it 2 movies ago, and it was done better there than it is here because you had more budget back then than you do now. So like, there's just a lot of things kind of like moving against it. I don't think it's bad. I like that it works. I like that it does flirt with the idea of like, we'll just kill each other. Like
Mhm.
the fight's very brutal, and by one point he's got her on the throat, and she's like stabbing him, and it's like, just do it. Like we'll just go out together, and
Mhm.
I like all of that. I like the Corey movie more at this point, which I know is like very anti what the internet thinks. But like we've gone from full blown Corey movie back to full blown Laurie movie, which is great, and it needs to be there to end the franchise. I understand all of it, but it's still just like, this is why it's not my favorite movie, because we have to wear all these different hats.
I kind of agree with you on that one as well. It's kind of like, I never watched the trailers because like when it came to
No,
these films, I was
me
like, well, I know I'm going to watch them at some point, so that I don't need to watch the trailer. And it wasn't like, that massive urge to watch them as well.
Sure.
So but like going into it, like I'm watching this film that we're getting presented. And like, this is really good. And then when it comes to the Michael stuff, I am sitting there thinking, this feels a little tacked on because this is not the film that we've been watching for an hour and a half or however long it's been at this point. And it does kind of just feel like, oh shit, yeah, this is the last in that series. We best do something with Michael in this bit.
That's my second quit too, is the fact that it did feel shoehorned in.
Yeah.
I did like the mini little build up to it, because after when Michael is stalking Corey just to kind of see what Corey's like outside of the sewer, he does run across Laurie again. But he's not ready yet to face her. But then when he doesn't have his mask, he's willing to face her, and that's where that final confrontation. So to suspend that disbelief, I think that scene where he sees Laurie and walks away is pivotal to just having it feel like a rushed ending or shoehorned in, because that little scene gives that fight a little credence, not enough to make it sellable.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's like I said, I don't think the fight's bad. I just think it was done better in Halloween.
And And that's the stuff on the cutting room floor that we missed.
Yeah. And I like that he kills her. I like that Allison comes in to help at the end, like, and she does that very ridiculous, like, super arm break on the counter. Like, I liked all of that. It was great. And then I'm even fine with the whole, like, the he's done. They call the cops. Like, we're gonna strap in the roof. We're gonna make sure everyone in this town knows that this motherfucker is finally dead. Like, we got him,
including the kid from the first one. Julian's there representing.
They're all out there, and they're like, and I like that there's some cops in the force like, this isn't how it's done. And then the police chief from the other two movies, who hasn't been in this thing at all, even he shows up and he's like, it's how it's done tonight. And it's like, I
do
really
like that moment. It's very kind of like, yeah.
But the whole thing feels like a reverse funeral procession, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all of them in a procession line, and instead of mourning the dead, it feels like them mourning the death of their town in a way.
They're ending their trauma.
Yeah. So but it's like a cathartic experience to see him turn into pulp.
Yeah.
So.
And then I just have to ask, did they ask the guy who had that, what are those things called? Like
he's dead. The grinder, he's dead. Remember, he got shot by Terry Tramer?
That's right. Okay. Yep. That's right. Okay.
That
so at least that
moment.
guy.
That asshole. Back to him.
Fucking Tramers. But okay, so they didn't have to ask him, but still someone's got to clean all that dead Michael out of that thing. And like, I just feel so bad for whoever that is, because God.
It'll rain. It's fine.
It's nobody's like junkyard anymore, because it was going to go to Corey, but Corey's dead now. So.
Oh, geez,
this is like a garbage disposal. You guys never clean your garbage disposal, right?
Nope.
Yes, I do. Does no one else do that?
Jesus. I feel like Bryan was just ready to be like, you are such a horrible human being. You have to clean out your garbage disposal.
Clean your fucking garbage. Just throw a lemon in there. It'll be fine.
Joke's on you. Mine doesn't work.
Because they don't clean it.
I don't really have them in this country. We have bins. We put things in the bin. We don't just like throw it down the sink and.
Oh, we're too lazy for that. It's like, we're already at the sink. It's a walk over. No.
Anyway, I've seen enough films where people get their hands ripped apart by a garbage disposal. If I had one, I ain't cleaning it.
Almost happens to Laurie in this movie.
I know, right? Literally in this film.
But either way, like the long and short of it is, I actually really do enjoy the ending. I enjoy him going into the big grinder thing. It did feel very like, he is dead. We got him. Like,
the funny thing is, when they strap him to the roof, like the first thing I'm thinking is like, burn the body, and then then they start driving through. I'm like, or do that.
Yeah.
Well, finite, really good.
Yeah.
Both work very well.
How many videos have I watched?
What's left?
Yeah, it might as well. But like, how many videos have I watched of like a couch getting thrown in those, or like a refrigerator, and always going like, I wonder it'd be like if a person went in there. Now I know. Thanks, Halloween Ends.
Yeah, very similar, just a bit more liquidy.
Yeah, it looks a lot like taffy. Like if you've made taffy before, it's just like that. It's a human taffy maker.
I did just start thinking of License to Kill though, when Benicio del Toro goes into the the big grind towards the end.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking Story of Ricky when the guy goes in the big meat grinder.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that as well.
Everyone's favorite movie, Story of Ricky.
And then funny enough, like, you know, when I mentioned Exterminator before we started recording, there's a bit in that where a guy goes through a grinding thing like that, but it's like, it just comes out like hamburger meat.
Well, that's Story of Ricky too.
I think it's literally hamburger meat though that comes out.
Maybe we should just do Story of Ricky for this show. I mean, it's only one movie, but we can watch it like 5 times in a row. We'll just it gets better and better.
It's a one-off.
It's so fucking bad. Anyhow,
gory though.
Oh, it's gory. Oh, Joel, you remember Story of Ricky, right? I used to make you watch that in high school.
I think I blocked it out of my memory, to be honest.
Talking of trauma.
that movie is trauma inducing. Anyhow, I think we're at the end of this thing. So let's wrap up with our favorite lines or quotes or moments or whatnot.
Yeah, we had a happy ending. We had a happy ending. Where
she goes and talks to Hawkins, but I really enjoyed the ending because it's an homage to the first movie.
Oh, sure.
All the places where Michael has been, but there's no breathing. So it's really like that final touch. But then you see that Laurie's hanging onto the mask. You're like, oh. But I think they did it really well. I don't think there's... Yeah. Michael's going to come back. You know, they're not going to let him go. But for this storyline of Laurie, it's over and done with.
Yeah. The button works. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that Allison does actually leave the town, because the whole way through I'm thinking, well, why didn't you just leave the town? Like, if you're constantly getting reminded of all this trauma as well, why not just move away? I mean, like, Laurie bought a house in Haddonfield. Like, I wouldn't want to stick around.
If you move away, you let him win.
I don't care.
That's usually the mentality of it. So I get it. I agree with you. I'm the fuck out, but I left the town I'm from too, so I'm not the right one to ask. And I didn't have any murders that
we know of.
Shh. Anyhow, the Quad Cities is a shockingly violent place if you look at the news. I just wasn't involved. Anyhow, let's move to the end of this thing.
Right. That's why you moved away, isn't it?
Also why I changed my name. Did I change my name? Now you have to wonder. Joel knows that's a lie. Anyhow,
I know what your real name is. Ted Bundy.
You caught me.
I feel like to be in Illinois, it has to be John Wayne Gacy, but
yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I was born in Iowa, so I could go more the Ed Gein route. Favorite lines, quotes, sequences, whatever. I'm gonna go first to actually get the ball rolling with this gem of a line. One of the best things said in any movie: boys who keep secrets don't get custard for dessert. Give you zero context, just that line is in this movie and it's amazing.
I do like that line.
I'll go.
All right.
The vagabond outside, they call him the vagabond, but the hermit, he's not done with you yet, you little fuck. You didn't even know it. But that just kind of shows the relationship between the hermit and Michael. So
that's a good one.
You know, you need to find someone that can let go, that makes you want to rip your shirt off and show grief your fucking tits and say, you know what? Let's go.
Jamie delivered that better than you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and she had the visual thing of like actually, swinging her tits around.
Well, she wasn't topless, unless we
Valiant
watched a very
effort.
different movie.
Matt watched the
Girls
director's
Gone
cut.
Wild, Halloween. We've come full circle.
Yes, we have. Joel, what about you?
So this is during the scene where the teenage band kids are getting slaughtered, and there's a girl underneath the car, and the boy says,
such a good line.
Stacy's dead, and she lets him says, "You're dead too."
That's so good.
It caught me off guard. I was like, "Holy shit, that's awesome!"
It's such a good moment. And then he's really dead.
Yeah,
torch in the mouth, dead. Like, whoa.
Yeah, I did like that. I was very satisfied with that because he was a dick and he deserved it.
Don't you like it that the Tremors are all dead by fire?
Yep.
I just like that all the Tremors are dead. This franchise has made me very anti-Tremors.
Well, Ben Tremor's not dead in this timeline.
No, don't remind me.
Yeah, he spawned a Terry Tremor.
Yeah, exactly.
God damn it.
Exactly.
Anyhow, let's move into plugs before we have to wrap up. I'm just bailing out of this fucking thing. We all got our quotes and stuff in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, so plugs. This show and every other show in the ATH network. Be sure to check out athpod.com, where we have this show, Demon Days, Damage Boost, and stuff from Joel.
Shit, I've got a lot to plug, don't I? After Thoughts Podcast is a book club with me and my wife. By the time you hear this, Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring will be our next episode posted. Part of Super GG Radio, which is a video game indie podcast, part of the Front Row Network. And I have also been in the Podcast of Us, which is the Last of Us rewatch show. Boy, that show is better than I expected it to be.
Right?
It's really good. It's really good.
Ryan, what about you?
I am also part of the Front Row Network. I host the Flashbacks channel, where we look at movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. We just did the movie Alive to celebrate its 30th anniversary. And then we will be doing Rain Man for Oscar month. And then, of course, with Oscar month, we've got all the things going on at the Front Row Network. We've got nomination spotlights, the movies that have been nominated. We've also got our Oscar forum, where we'll break down all the films and what we think it's going to win. We've got our Oscar Guess the Oscars, where all the personalities of the Front Row Network put forward what they think is going to win and who they want to win. And then, yeah, I'm also on the podcast of Us where we break down each episode of The Last of Us. So, yeah.
Awesome. Matt, you plug
every time I hear like someone mention about the film Alive, I always think of the Simpsons.
Me too.
Episode where there's no thanks
Can't
to the
help
plane.
myself.
We are all still alive.
Fucking great. Are you just plugging the film Alive now, Matt?
Sure.
Or the Simpsons episode where they watch it?
Yeah, the Simpsons episode is better.
Did you have anything to plug?
Nah, they've heard my plugs. It's still the same situation where it was last time.
Perfect. All right. So be sure to tune in next week where we finally wrap up all of the Halloween franchise. We have the movies ranked, the top 5 kills, top 5 lines or moments like we do at the end of the episodes, and a new category this week that you should all get excited for, which are the top 5 characters we wish had made it out alive. Very excited for next week. I always like the wrap-up episodes. They're a ton of fun. So be sure to check that out. And then after that, we have The Fate We Make, which will be an entire show on, if you can't figure out from that line, then you're
RoboCop, right?
Yeah, RoboCop, aka
yeah.
No, we're doing all the Terminator films. We're gonna skip the Sarah Connor Chronicles for now, which I'm okay with. I'm telling myself.
That will be
okay
30. That will be 30 odd episodes if we did actually do that.
And that's why I'm like, well, just stick with the movies.
Yeah, it's 2 seasons. So the season 1's like
it's a season and a half
episodes or
15,
something,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then season 2 got the full 22. So
any excuse to look at Summer Glau, I'll take it.
It's a very good show, so it might come back around.
It is a very good show, to be fair.
Yeah, we'll see how we do after the movies. They might come back.
Yeah,
but
that's just
as
like
of right
a whole
now,
years of podcasting if we did all the show as well.
Yeah.
And when do you do them? Like, do you do them in between Terminator 2 and Terminator 3, or do you do them after Terminator 3, or where?
Or they're their own thing, kind of too.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
exactly.
So we'll just leave them out. We'll just do the movies. Yeah. But yeah, so that's
Good
all
show,
coming
though.
up. Be sure to check it out. And I'm not going to stop recording this week for behind the scenes action because I just want to keep this one audio file. So we're just going to say bye, and then I'm going to walk away for a minute and get some more coffee. This is all staying in the end of the episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Make that be the ending line.
All right, I'll be right back.
God, I hate you all right now. I just hate recording with you. This is just disgusting. Like, I'm fed up of this shit.